We couldn't have picked a more worse time to start a construction project.
Let alone a campground. Guys, prices are through the roof. It will not stop raining here in Alabama. Supply lines are completely screwed up.
And that's assuming that you can find the labor to do it. I'm not living like this.
Welcome back to the RV Odd Couple. My name is John.
And I'm Mercedes. And long story short, we sold most of our possessions in pursuit of freedom, independence, and adventure.
Because life is so short, you guys. And I'll tell you what, we're a little bit over our head right now. But
just a little bit.
Just a little bit. But there is a light at the end of the tunnel. In this video, we're going to talk with you about the struggles that we've had at Thunder Canyon.
Yeah.
The rain, record rains down here in Alabama, trying to get our roads in,
Yeah.
just trying to put together a plan, and the ball keeps on kind of moving on us, right? We're taking what we can get.
Yeah.
And so we're going to talk about the highs, the lows. We've had some pretty low lows. Some pretty dark moments for Mercedes and I. But we're going to take you around the campground and show you the progress that we have made.
Yeah, it's almost like, would you say it's one step forward, two steps back, or two steps forward, one step back? It kind of depends on the day.
It depends on the day, right? It's been one hell of a ride, you guys. But with the RV Odd Squad's help and God's help, we're taking one step at a time, and the campground's finally starting to come together. We have RV Odd Squad members coming in by the droves right now. We've actually had 6 RVs in the park this weekend.
All at once.
And what's really cool about that is when the RV Odd Squad gets here, we're so focused on the next task at hand. You know, we work 18-hour days. The breaks that the RV Odd Squad gives us when they come in is actually a blessing, because it's always like, oh no, somebody's coming in today, right?
Yeah.
But what it does is it forces us
to chillax a minute.
to just stop for a second, right? To get together with the people who have supported us and given us this platform.
Yeah.
We consider this park, this resort, RV Odd Squads. It's not just ours, it's all of ours. And every time they come in here, no matter who it is, somebody helps with something. So we closed about 5-6 weeks ago, and the biggest problem we've had is that the plan going in was to build new roads out of what's called chert, which is very, very durable, strong roads here in Alabama. Because of all the rain, we could not go with chert until we had a week or two of just dry weather, because it needed to be molded and then it needed to dry, right? We had just gotten back from Colorado. We were really excited to be back in Thunder Canyon. We were there for 2 weeks. The next morning we woke up and it started to rain, and it rained for 3 days straight. And that's when I think we hit the bottom. Mercedes really had almost a nervous breakdown. She was sick of being in mud. We couldn't do anything.
It was horrible. I couldn't keep the RV clean. I felt like, you know, like your basic necessities, if they're not taken care of for a long time, you get this fatigue when like the floors are that dirty constantly and it's that muddy, and then you have to be inside all the time because the weather's so bad outside. I was like, I can't live like this. And, you know, when your wife tells you I can't live like this.
Well, I knew at that moment I had to do something. And so the plan all along was to build these roads with chert, but we couldn't get a long enough spell of just no rain and sunniness, right, to actually do it. So I had gone to 6 contractors to come out here to bid these roads. There was one man, his name is Lee. And Lee, I feel so blessed that we found Lee, because I called Lee that morning and I said, Lee, can you please come see me? He did. He come out. We saw, what are our options? I have to build roads, or my wife is going to divorce me, or we're just going to not be able to finish this project.
This just won't happen.
Lee came up with the idea of recycled asphalt, and that we wouldn't have those same type of problems. And I said, sold. And then I said, I just begged him, how quickly can you start? Lee is such a good man. He had started dumping trucks out here the very next day.
Yeah.
Brought in the bulldozer, started pushing this stuff out. It was about a 7-day process. We brought in about 130 yards of recycled asphalt. He's pushed it around. You guys can see we built it up really nice.
Yeah.
Yep. And so far, we're really happy with it. He wasn't the cheapest, but there was something about him I liked. And then we ended up going to the local town hall meeting with the town council. And, you know, they opened that with a prayer and the Pledge of Allegiance. And then Wendy, the mayor here, started telling me, she said, who's doing your roads? And we said, oh, Lee Davis is doing them. She goes, oh, he's the mayor of Henniger.
Yeah.
You know, I just love that type of humility. If I was the mayor, I'd have a button, right, and a hat. And I'd tell everybody I was the mayor. I knew Lee for weeks. He never said a word. And here's what's really interesting. The next time I saw Lee, I popped it on him. I said, I just found out that you're the mayor of Henniger. he actually blushed.
Yeah.
Right? He was almost a little bit embarrassed by it. But I asked his permission to share that with you. Lee's just got a beautiful family, 5 kids. He had his daughter here with him, and she was pushing around. He's babysitting, he's working.
Yeah.
But we were so blessed to find a man with so much integrity, and he put our roads together for them quick. And then the light come out, right? Mercedes started to see a little bit of a bright spot at the end of the tunnel.
There was hope, because if you don't see it getting better, it's like you have to see momentum. Like, you have to see the ball going forward little by little. And these roads, I mean, it's not completely done, but we kind of had a dry run with the RV Odd Squad members that came in as soon as the roads were built. It was like a dry run to see what spots need a little bit more attention. We were able to test out the material. We were able to figure out what works, what doesn't work. It was just like the perfect solution and the perfect test run, I would say.
That was when we hit the bottom.
Yeah.
We hit the bottom, and it was just a breaking point. We prayed. We started asking for guidance from the right people. The next day, Lee was here. And what's really cool is we just had an RV Odd Squad member, Tom and Jan, share a passage out of the Bible, Mark 11:23, and then the RV Odd Squad is coming out in droves. Remember, guys, we are not going to open this campground until late spring of 2022.
Yeah.
The private RV Odd Squad members are the only ones who are allowed to come here. It's just under 200 members, and we love having them come here because it's almost a break, right? A little bit of a respite from the insanity that we go through every single day. So guys, when we first came to Thunder Canyon, it was overgrown, right? Nobody's been here for at least between 9 and 12 years. We don't know exactly how long it's been.
Yeah.
The grasses, it was just a mess. It was, 4, 5, 6 feet tall. And look what the RV Odd Squad has helped us do, this field behind us.
I feel like they doubled our campground.
Yeah, it's incredible. The work that's slowly being done. It's really starting to look like a campground. It's really inviting. It's very peaceful here. We've had members come in and actually get teared up, And guys, the pictures don't do this place justice. And every single person that's come in has said that. The pictures just don't do it justice because it's just so beautiful. Again, we've mentioned before, this place should have been purchased as a state park or a community park. It's just so beautiful. One of the things we've done since we started was we had to go out and get the right equipment to run a campground. So we bought a tractor, we bought a zero mower, John Deere, and we just got a skid steer. It's taken a bit of an adjustment for me to get used to driving the brand new machinery. It's a 2021 Bobcat. And me driving it for 1 hour, I threw this attachment, a forestry attachment, so we could cut open paths. We wanted to do about 9.1 miles of trails here at the park. And I threw a track. And what stunk about it is when I threw the track, I threw it right down next to the creek. And we had heavy rain and flood watches coming in that night. So I didn't sleep very well. The track weighs about 350 pounds. I was trying to muscle it back up by myself. And Phil came looking for me. And by the time Phil found me, Phil, come out and save me, man. I've been out here for an hour. I could not budge this thing. I blew a track last night, 15 minutes after using the skid steer. And Phil just come out and saved my butt. Woo.
All right, guys, so you are literally standing at where our new home is going to be. No, not that home over there. We literally have hookups right here next to the main cabin. So, John, show them the hookups because I don't really know where they're located.
So what we've done is we basically put in a sewer line for our RV right back there, and then we've added 50 amp service on the building right back there. So what's ended up happening right now is we built beautiful roads to the lower campground, which is about 15 total sites. We've got about 7 sites working right now with 30 and 50 amp. So far, it's been working out fantastic for the RV Odd Squad. We've had a great time together. Yep. But eventually, we're going to need to move out of that portion of the campground up to this portion of the house. We have started remodeling the inside of the house. And we hit a big trip with that because we started pulling out the old carpet. And that stuff's probably 40, 50 years old. Everybody jumped in. One of the coolest things about what's been going on here is the RV Odd Squad come in. And we had about a dozen people here, right? 6 different families with their RVs, Class A's, Class B's, Class C's, everything, fifth wheels. And what's really cool is we don't tell anybody what to do. We just keep doing what we're doing. one of our favorite things to do is to give the RV Odd Squad a tour. Sage loves that piece. We just give them a quick tour of Thunder Canyon, and then we get back to work. But what's beautiful about our friends, our family on the road, is they just jump in and they start helping. We don't have to tell them what to do. And so that's what happened on this house. I started tearing up the floor. The next thing you know, we had 8 people down here, and we crushed it in about 20 minutes.
It was so fast.
It was so fast. The problem is what happened to Sage.
Yeah, something, a mold spore. I mean, this is an older home, and the carpet was really nasty, and so the something got on her face
and her eye, we think.
Yeah, and so she had an allergic reaction. Luckily, we were able to do like the teledoc.
Yeah, we used the telemedicine again that we get from the RV Odd Squad.
By 8 a.m. the next morning, the prescription was already at the pharmacy in Eider. So that was amazing. Yeah. But it still is just kind of, we got to get this fixed before anybody can go in here.
Exactly. You guys know what it's like when your kid gets sick, right?
Yeah,
it was horrible for about 24, 36 hours. They gave her Benadryl, and Sage and Mercedes slept for about 6 hours the next day. And I think it was great for you. You really needed the rest.
Yeah, I feel guilty, though, for taking the rest, but it was necessary.
It was awesome.
All right, guys. So these boxes down in the corner is the new floors. They're acclimating. And we are going to have a really nice, it's durable, commercial grade. It's kind of brown, kind of gray, kind of in that family. And I think it'll go really well with the fireplace. I think it'll really bring out some of the natural woods. I think we're going for like barn meets farm meets country. Southern charm.
This used to be a couple bedroom house with 2 bathrooms, but we're going to turn this into a clubhouse so we have a place to meet, to play games, maybe set up a little game room or whatever, play cards here.
Yeah, and this is going to be the new floor.
Yeah, this is also the building that we put the washer and dryer in. So the floor has got to stand up to it, and this stuff is also waterproof.
Yeah, very important here because it's really wet. Okay, guys, this might sound silly, but it's one of the things I'm like super excited about. We got coin-operated washer and dryer. You have no idea how happy this makes me, but it's kind of funny because this is like the only washer and dryer within like, I don't know how far the laundromat is, the next town over.
Yeah, it's in Hanniger, about 20 miles.
Yeah, it's pretty far, so everyone's been using this, but you know what? We've done really good. We've had some really good laundry etiquette moments, and everyone's getting along.
So right here behind us is the kitchen, the commercial kitchen. There's about $50,000 worth of good equipment, and there's deep fryers, there's griddles, just about everything you need to run a restaurant. And on the back side, we've got a dining room where 70 people can sit and eat. So we're hoping that we can do dinners there with the RV Odd Squad. We were actually considering ripping this thing down completely and putting a steel building in. The truth is, guys, it's too much money.
Yeah.
So what we're going to do is we're going to take volunteers, the RV Odd Squad. We're going to go in. We've already started cleaning the inside of that out. We're going to call in the local health department, find out what it is we need to do to get it up to par so that we can open it. Obviously, we want to have a nice, safe place for people to hang out and to break bread in. And so with this one, we are going to use what we've got. There are no leaks on the roof. The bones are fairly good, but we're going to go ahead and clean it up. And hopefully we'll get it to a place where we can feed 70 people, and we think it's going to be wonderful. So right here, guys, is our public shower room and bathrooms. We're going to go ahead and fix that up. There is no leaks. We're putting in new electrical. We're putting in new fixtures inside there. We're going to paint it up, make it look nice and pretty. It's got 4 stalls for men, 4 showers, and 4 stalls for women. This is going to be a place where we can actually be able to bring in people to tent camp or primitive camp here at Thunder Canyon. There are so many beautiful spots all over this 226 acres that people will be able to feel like they're alone, but they're still surrounded by a whole bunch of people.
Yeah, and have some basic health services necessities. Okay, guys, so I haven't really held back like how I really feel about this as far as some of these cabins. You see, a lot of these cabins were unoccupied for a really long amount of time, so there's like critters, and they're smelling a little moldy, right? But it's kind of like a 50-50. 50% of people think that we should just, destroy them, burn them to the ground and start fresh. And then the other 50% is like, well, what would it look like if we did try to refurbish them? So to hedge our bets, we've got the best one. This one's in the best shape, right?
This is number 1, cabin 1.
Cabin 1. So we're going to try the experiment of like, what would it look like if we did remodel? Because a lot of the people here, locals, think that we can make these places look really nice. So here's the before of what we're going to be starting soon.
Right, and so what we're going to do is we're going to go in there, we're going to kill all the mold, probably put some new insulation in there. We're going to kills everything, probably put some new paneling up, new flooring in there. Obviously, we want to have a really nice, comfortable bed for people that come to visit Thunder Canyon and don't have an RV. Maybe take one of our RV Class 101s. Eventually, that's what we're going to be doing here. We're going to be bringing people in to actually train them how to RV at Thunder Canyon. And so we're going to take this one, we're going to remodel it.
This is our experiment.
Right, this is our test kit. We're going to put $5,000 into this thing and see if we can make it livable. Yeah. We obviously want a really nice bed, nice linens, nice and clean, probably a small new kitchen, simple. Yeah. But believe it or not, this cabin behind us actually sleeps about 12 people. Yeah. There's 3 separate bedrooms in there where we can put a lot of bunk beds for large families or group gatherings.
Yeah, this could be huge. So we'll let you guys know. It's either a phenomenal idea or it's a total fail.
Yeah, and that way, you know, if it doesn't work out, we just scrape it and we bring in a new cabin and drop a new cabin in its place. But we're going to give it a shot.
So clearly one of the issues that we've had in the campground is having redundancy. You see, we can't necessarily always stay at the original campground area.
So what we also have done is we had one of the RV Odd Squad members, an electrician named Jimmy. Jimmy came in and threw 50 amp sub panels on all the cabins. So right now we can actually use these cabins to pull in an RV next to them and plug into services. The sewer systems are just behind, so it's very easy for us to run pipes back to them.
The area in front of the cabins is really level. So if we can park RVs in front of the cabins in the meantime, this is not the final plan. This is kind of the interim. But this will allow us to kind of stay here if we need to, and we'll still have some utilities.
Yeah, so each one of these sites, we're going to throw a 50 amp box on it so we can back an RV and either give them 20, 30, or 50 amp.
It's pretty level.
It's not perfectly level, but we can make it work.
Yeah.
So this week we had a treat. Marty and his wife Amy came to Thunder Canyon Camp Gratitude for the very first time. As you guys know, Marty is our insurance guy.
RV Odd Squad Insurance.
Yeah, RVOddSquadInsurance.com. And Marty has now insured over 400 RV Odd Squad members. And so far, all 5 stars of anybody who's used the service.
Yeah, and so poor guy, like, we really put our people, our partners through the ringer. He spent his birthday with us, which I feel like we owe him a condolences card for that.
Can you slow down a little bit?
Wait a minute.
Are you a Yankee, sir?
So Marty's kind of a pain in my butt, right? He's always late and he's kind of needy, right? He's a really nice guy, big heart, good man, right? Love his wife. But here's the deal. For 2 days, he's telling us he's going to be coming in right around dark, and I knew Marty's going to come around 9 or 10 o'clock at night, right? Right now, we've got 12 members of the RV Odd Squad staying on site. We've got 6 RVs, Class A's, Class B's, Class C's.
The whole gamut.
Right, we've got a 5th wheel. And so about 9:30 rolls around, and they know that Marty's coming, right? They know that I was a little bummed he was coming at night. So anyways, Marty, I tell Marty, text me 10 minutes before you get here. Stop when you come through the Thunder Canyon gate.
Because it's so dark.
It's so dark. There's no light in here whatsoever.
No
exactly.
light.
And these are all brand new roads. So we don't even have reflectors anywhere, right?
Yeah.
So I tell Marty, come through the gate and stop, and then I'll come up and get you. You know, the RV Odd Squad is the best, right? They're like, oh, we'll help you if you need. I'm like, don't worry about it. I got this. I've been doing this.
It's my pain in the butt.
So Marty gives us a 5-minute text. I go out the door by myself. It's 9:30. I'm assuming everybody's sleeping, right?
Yeah.
All the RV Odd Squad sleeping around us. So I jump on the side-by-side. I run up. I go to get Marty. And as I'm driving back, I see dozens of people out here holding lights, putting lights in the corners of buildings, started their vehicles up to get light.
The pathways.
The pathway was like a landing strip to Marty's site. And I looked at my buddy, I looked at Bill, and I said, Bill, I could have done this without you. Bill looks at me and says, we're a family.
Yeah.
Mercedes and I both got choked up when that happened.
Cool.
It was just a beautiful thing to see so many people helping getting Marty set up. Now, Marty has never really RV'd before.
So they kind of helped him.
Yeah, Yeah, we helped him with his hoses. We helped him with everything, and we had a great time. But that just shows you how much the community of the RV Odd Squad, they're such good people. They're so giving.
RVers, I think in general, are giving, but when they knew that we had a newbie that was renting a vehicle he'd never used before and was setting up in dark, everybody just kind of came to the rescue.
Yeah, and Marty got choked up when he saw all these people running around him to help him set up. So that's what it's like to be a member of the RV Odd Squad. So go and check out a passage, Mark 11:23, and it's going to explain exactly where Mercedes and I were, right? Guys, you guys know that this was not the plan to buy Thunder Canyon. We just started praying for guidance and direction and what God wanted us to do next. I've never been so clear in my life about the rest of my mission in life. This is a mountain. It's something I have no experience with. But when you're doing anything like this, it's not going to be all smooth sailing. It's going to be rocky. And we hit the bottom a couple of weeks ago. And ever since then, you know, Mercedes we're starting to get a little bit more hope. Things are starting to get together. And then the RV Odd Squad is coming out in droves.